Hey all, Rulgert here. Speaking on my new archery patent that was received at the USPTO on May 24th, um, 2012. Um, it's an industry shifting patent, leap forward in efficiencies, compound bow efficiency, um, and it's a biggie for me. And I'm very happy because honestly I need this. I'm considering holding the rights to myself exclusively and producing a bowl based on the floating limb format myself under Earth Synergetics as a means of generating capital for the tree saucer effort. Um, I mean, starting a tree saucer company is like starting a car company all by myself. It's a lot of work and it's not going anywhere super fast. The producing the bowl is going to give me a lower startup cost and a quicker turnaround. And honestly, I really need that. So if you buy a floating limb compound from Earth Synergetics, you're supporting the tree saucer effort. Um, but it is going to be is undoubtedly going to be the fastest bow that has ever been produced. Provided somebody else doesn't come up with something, you know, a little bit faster, But I mean, it's gonna be smoking, and it's gonna last longer, because anytime you increase the efficiency of a bow, that's more energy going into the arrow and less energy that's imbibed in the moving components of the bow that can't escape the bow and ends up turning into shock and noise and heat. Okay, so it's a longer lasting. It's going to be a longer lasting bow. It's going to be a faster bow, and it's going to be quieter. Okay, so just going over the thing briefly. There's the receipt from the post office. There's the receipt from the money order. Copy of the cover letter and main body. Here's the technical drawing. It's going to be a short axle to axle, very short, 16 axle to axle, 21 overall height, vertical bow. I'm going with around. This is to date. This is the design to date. It is being developed. This is early development. I'm about 2 weeks in on it. It's going to be an ambidextrous bow where I only have to make one casting. It's a hand over bow where the arrow is actually coming out of the gate under your hand instead of over. And so the sight mounts will be along the top of the riser here, and the sight will be on top. A left-handed shooter would flip the bow, and there'll be a same bolt pattern into the riser there. There's going to be removable plates opposite sides to service the cams and the limbs. I'm going to use a whisker biscuit disc. There's going to be no other rest hardware required other than the whisker biscuit disc, which will be inserted in a machined opening in the riser with a cover plate that is designed with the correct amount of slop so that you can loosen the 4 bolts and push a pin or like an Allen key through a hole in the top or the bottom and push out the slack so the offset is correct for left or right handed shooting. Tighten up the bolts and you're ready to go. Now here, this is hard to explain for somebody that doesn't understand this stuff, but I got this is like a double exposure. Okay, it doesn't have crossing limbs like this. This is this blue limb coming out like this is the at brace or undrawn. Same up here, and then the red limbs are you can see the deflection, increased deflection. That's at full draw. Okay, so I got a negative feedback circuit, and the intake. So it's a in-feed out-feed system where the in-feed is in excess of the out-feed, causing the limb deflection, but the out-feed gives the crosstalk that keeps the bow in synchronicity at all times. Now the bus cables are going to be left and right of the bow at the periphery on either side, because your hand has to go past the cables on the interior. The up-feed buses are going to go through the center of the riser and pull on the in here. Okay, now I'm using round wheels at this point because I'm trying to design for round wheels, because I'm getting a camming effect through angle of incidence to the limb pivot of the in-feed and out-feed buses, where you can see here the blue at brace has a low torque moment of torque against the limb at brace. Okay, and the outfeed has a high moment of torque, and then when you draw the bow, it smoothly moves through that to where it mutates into a let-off. So this bow is cammed in a different way. Okay, so it has a flat power draw curve, and it has a let-off, but I'm using round wheels. And the reason I want to use round wheels is because they're easier to produce, and they're balanced. There's no washing, out of balance washing machine freaking slosh going on, causing undue heat in the bearings. It's just a quick spin. Probably titanium cams and limb pins. And it's going to be an ambidextrous bow, where you flip the bow for a left-handed shooter. So I only have to make one casting. It's a hand-over bow, where the arrow's coming out of the gate under your hand as opposed to over the hand, and the reason for that is because it is a very short bow. And most archers put more force into their wrist bone on the grip as a means of stabilizing the anchor, because your wrist bone is more conducive to consistent anchor than the meaty part of above your thumb. So that's the reason I went with that, and that puts the sight where there's going to be a bolt pattern up here, a bolt pattern down here. A right-handed shooter bolts their sight apparatus to the top here, and the left-handed shooter, bolts. Well, the bow is flipped, but there's be a receiving pattern for the sighting mechanism on both ends. So it's an ambidextrous, compact floating limb compound. Produced by Earth Synergetics, coming soon. Probably a year or two off. I don't know yet. That's all I can see for now. Take care all.